The 100th anniversary of the first bus on Gozo is now under a year away, so the Malta Bus Archive is making plans to celebrate this centenary, and here is how you can help. In the spring of 1925, something new started on the island of Gozo, a motor bus service. To mark this important event, two key projects are now underway. The first is to publish a definitive history of the Gozo bus industry. The book will chart the history of all of the buses, coaches and larger minibuses to have operated on the island over the last 100 years. It will also look at the stories of some of the people who have worked in the Gozo bus industry, the owners, drivers, conductors, engineers, painters and other individuals, including some of the multi-generational families. The second project is we plan to hold a weekend-long celebration around the time of the centenary. Dates are still to be confirmed, but watch this space for further details. So how can you help with the Gozo 100 project? We are trying to find as many photographs of the buses as we can from any date during the last 100 years. Preferably original prints or negatives, but failing that, good quality copies. Here are three examples we have from the 1920s and 1930s. From left to right, we have a photograph of four buses parked in front of the shrine at Tapinu. The fact that there are building materials around the site, plus parts of the building are not quite finished, suggests that the photo dates from around 1932. The top right image shows three buses at Marsalthorne seafront. Close examination of the photograph shows that the buses are in fact in different colours, and it is known that at first different routes had different coloured liveries. What colours were for which villages does not seem to have been recorded, so we are seeking to find people who are in their late 80s or older who may recall what colour their local bus was on Gozo when they were young. The bottom right photograph shows Loreto Schwereb's Ford bus number 144 with a group of children in central Victoria. The man on the right was its then regular driver Tony Borge, also from Arla, and from the early 1930s he went on to own and drive his own buses, three generations of bus number 3138. We would also love to hear from anyone with photographs of buses from more recent times, even if the bus in question appears just in the background. Who knows, it may be the only photograph we have of that particular vehicle. We would also love to hear from anyone with photographs of minibuses on Gozo. It is not just photographs of the buses that we are after, but also the people too. Here we see photographs of some of the earlier bus owners and drivers. From left to right we have Loreto Schwereb as an older man, Paul McAuliffe, Emmanuel Grech, Paul Portelli and Tony Borge, this being the same Tony Borge we saw with Loreto's bus on the previous slide, and finally Carmelo and Fortunato Cini. Do you have any photographs from the last 100 years that show people who worked with the buses? From the earliest pioneers to the modern day, if you can help, please get in touch. We would also love to interview people who worked in the industry, or the descendants of those sadly no longer with us. Our contact details will be found at the end of this video. Finally, we would love to hear from anybody who has any tickets, rosters, timetables, maps, or other documents that we can make copies of. It's amazing how little paperwork has survived, so anything that you may have, we would love to hear from you. We would also love to hear from you if you have examples of the badges that the drivers and conductors used to have on their peaked caps. Once again, records as to who had which badge number do not seem to have survived, so therefore the only way we can put this information together is by people letting us know what their individual badge numbers were. We look forward to hearing from you if you can help. And as a reminder, we are looking for anybody with photographs with buses in them, not only old photographs, but more recent times as well. Anybody with documentation, tickets, badges, timetables, that sort of thing. And we're also looking to interview people who used to work in the Gozo bus industry, not just the drivers and conductors, but those who, for example, maintained, painted, or even built the buses themselves.